Awesome. So we're joined here now live on the Athletes Podcast with Cyril Grayson, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver. Thanks for coming on the Athletes Podcast, man.
And thank you, David. I appreciate you having me here. I'm excited to be here and just talk about whatever.
Yeah, man. That's the beauty of podcasts. We can talk about anything and everything, right? How's quarantine been treating you guys? What's it like down there in Houston for you right now?
It's been pretty good. Just kind of trying to stay inside for the most part. Somebody keeps calling me. So
Popular guy.
Yeah, it's one of the guys I train with. He keep calling me right now, and I'm like,
he wants to get a workout in, man. That's what happens when you're a popular athlete, right?
You know. But yeah, it's been pretty good. Just working out and staying inside. That's probably the extent of everything. Haven't been going outside too often. It's just been workout, come inside, not know what day it is. Some days take a nap. Some days wait until the nighttime to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty much what everybody's been experiencing. Besides, I get outside a little bit to go and work out and do that. That's what it's been.
Makes sense. What's your training looking like right now in the off season? I saw you were putting up on your Insta story. You're throwing around some heavy weights and squats. Are you trying to put on some size, or what's the goal right now in the off season?
Nah, just right now I'm just trying to, be in some real good shape. Whatever the team's asking me to do, and I also have a little bit of another training program that I kind of incorporate, whether it's balance, whether it's running around a little bit here and there, but nothing too much. Sometimes the days are long, but it's just grinding how the normal off-season grind is. You don't want to be too far ahead, because then you'll peak too soon, but you also don't want to be behind because you don't want to get there and you can't keep up, But right now, honestly, I'm feeling like I'm in the best shape I've ever been in an off season before we head back into the facilities for camp and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, man, that's great to hear. And we'll get to your insane story because it's a pretty incredible story, the way you've been able to get to the NFL now.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what everyone's asking about. The fact that Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, both signing on your squad. How you feeling going into this year, potentially catching passes from arguably the GOAT?
Yeah, I'm excited about being in this situation to be able to play with a guy like Tom Brady and also Rob Gronkowski, and just be around those great athletes, those great football minds, good leaders, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just ready to pick their brain, be around them, and, let some of their greatness mix with some of my greatness, and then everybody else, and just see how far we can go. Those guys knowing how to get to the ultimate prize. And I think that somebody who knows how to get to the end, just being around those type of people, you can feel the energy difference. When I was in Seattle, I was around some people who had been to the Last Dance and won. So you can kind of feel the energy difference between the guys who've never been there and the energy difference between those people who just want to try to get there,
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the Last Dance. Have you been watching MJ?
No, I haven't been watching. I watched pieces of the episodes, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh man, you got to get on that. Are you a LeBron guy then?
I'm not a huge into watching basketball that much until playoffs really, but I'm a Netflixer more so I'm not a person who can sit and wait for all the episodes to come out. I kind of want to binge watch. So I'm gonna wait till they finish up, and then I'll sit down and watch it, because I know everybody's talking about it, and I know that it's probably just something good to watch.
It's fantastic, man. Great, great inspiration, and it just shows the incredible dedication he had as an athlete, as a human being. It's pretty exceptional. All right, let's transition to how you got to where you are now in the NFL. You grew up playing football. You're a track star. You played in high school. You commit to signing at Louisiana State University to go for track. You're an incredible sprinter. You set records there at that school. Basically just excellence at the institutional level, but you don't play football for those 4 years, and you end up figuring out some way to jump onto a pro day that's organized by LSU, and you end up signing with the Seahawks. How the hell does a guy who's never or hasn't played football for 4 years sign with an NFL team?
It's opportunity meeting, you know, the luck, right? It's luck. What did they say? When preparation meets opportunity, you know? So I guess that was just me, like, being prepared for that very moment. And it was destiny, that I, you know, went to dinner with the guy from Seattle the night before, you know, and then I performed, and they were the first people to talk to me after I ran, and they were the first people to fly me out, and I signed to them, you know, and I guess so it was just all written. But it was just me kind of remembering the dream that I always had from when I was a little boy, that I wanted to get to the biggest level, the top level in football, and never letting that go. It was hard to watch football when I was in college, and to go to those games sometimes, and to kind of get turned around when I went to go and try to get on the team, just with like the different rules and stuff like that. But I never doubted my ability. But it is definitely mind-blowing to me when I go back and look at like some film from when I was like working out and training to get into this pro day, and like just to look at my mechanics and stuff like that, and how I looked as a receiver. And it was horrible, especially when I look at it now, you know, and I guess going through those motions and stuff like that, I felt like I was good enough then. But when I go back and look at it now, and look and compare the drills that I was doing then and how I look now when I'm running routes and stuff like that, it's night and day difference. So I do appreciate the Seahawks for giving me that shot and that opportunity and that moment, and every other team in between, and up until the point that I'm in now. Because, you know, when I look back at it, if I was a GM or one of the scouts or anything like that, I probably would have sent this guy home and never gave him a chance again. But they saw something in me that, you know, I was feeling in that moment, you know, because I felt like I had that greatness in me still, even if I didn't look like it. So I think that that's real important, that I manifested in my mind before it actually came to pass. You know, I already saw that I had some type of greatness, that I deserved to be there for some reason. And with that belief, you know, maybe the aura of it gave it to other people too. So I guess that's what it is. It's just me self-believing, God putting these opportunities in front of me continually, and then I'm maximizing them, and I'm just continuing showing them that I'm getting better and better every day. So that's what it's been.
Yeah, you've been on 6 different squads with the Seahawks, the Texans, the Bears, your home city with the Saints, now with the Bucs. It's interesting because we've got, you know, you're on the Athletes podcast here, and we would have had you on as a oh man, I just fell. We would have had you on as a runner, just given how decorated you are, one of the most decorated in relay runner NCAA history. 4-time NCAA champion, 7-time All-American. So an incredible athlete prior to even making the NFL. And now you take those talents and you're able to transfer it over. Incredible feat of athleticism. How are you trying to transfer your ability to bring that athleticism to the National Football League? Because, you know, you're not just focusing on running now. You have to be cognizant of the fact that there's 300-pound guys running around the field trying to hit you too now.
Right.
Are you making sure that you've got just a constant effort of building your knowledge of the game?
Yeah, I think that was the first, like, kind of the biggest curve. I have to constantly put myself in a situation where I'm seeing this stuff more than what the other guys are seeing it, because I'm behind the 8 ball. They have 4 years worth of plays that they've seen, 4 years of defenses that they've seen going against them, where I was just watching it from the sideline, and I didn't really have those opportunities to get those reps. They caught, you know, thousands of more balls than me. And so I guess I was pulling from history from when I was playing in high school. And the game, you know, probably went 10 times faster in college. And now it's 10 times faster than college in the pros. So it's just me constantly trying to catch up and then getting up to speed. So watching it and getting out there and doing it, that's why I can't ever really take like a long break, because I need to be catching up as much as I can. So it's been that, trying to get those reps and all of that type of stuff, and just learning from the people around me. But good thing I'm a, you know, fast learner, so that's helped. And I try to translate what I know from track, you know, and that's hard work. And that's just like dedicating to like little small fine details of everything. That's knowing how to take care of my body. And then there's some things I have to take away. I have to take away, you know, being a long strider sometimes. Sometimes I have to be quicker than fast. Sometimes I have to know how to protect myself. And those are just different things that I learned from other people, as well as, you know, listening to what my coaches say and what my trainers say on the outside. So they always coach me up. Okay, Cyril, you're not running track no more. You can't pick your knees up that high when you're doing this. You know, you want to have your feet closer to the ground, and just different things like that. And that's been a challenge. It's been a journey, but I buy into everything that they're telling me so that I can, you know, accelerate as fast as I can.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even really considered the fact that your running mechanics have to completely change now, given the fact that you're not going for that full distance length sprint. You might have to create those quick transitions, agility, mind-boggling. Is there a guy that you've reached out to, or that you talk to on a daily basis, weekly basis, or a couple for that matter, that you try and pick their brain as much as you can in specific?
So for a while, when I was in New Orleans, and I still have a good relationship with Coach CJ, he was, you know, very instrumental in helping me become a better receiver, as well as David Robertson in Dallas. I talked to him here and there, Delphonte Diamond, Justin Allen, and those are some of the guys that I talk to all the time, and those are trainers for the most part that help me out. I don't really have a real big relationship with players that's not really on the same level as me.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And are you, I'm curious, to transition back to LSU, you were in a kinesiology degree. Does that add a bit of knowledge as far as when you're training, when you're going through your programming? Do you have a bit of that inside knowledge so that you know exactly what to do on top of what the team's given you?
Yeah, for sure. So whenever you have like a human movement background, you kind of don't let people tell you anything. So I'm kind of picky with my trainers, if you will, because if you don't seem like you know what you're talking about, if it's not really backed by science or what we already know, like from the game, then I'm like, okay, I'm not about to do this. This translates in no way, as well as I wanted to go into physical therapy. So I've worked in clinics, and I like to be in the training room a lot. So that's a way that kinesiology degree helps me. Maybe I'm making some connections for post-football too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's always good to keep your options open, especially in a sport like football. The careers aren't necessarily the longest necessarily, right? And everyone's got to make sure that they've got that post-career option.
Exactly.
Are you what was LSU like, man? What made you go to LSU more specifically, and what's that institution like? Were you guys just living it up there in Baton Rouge for 4 years?
Baton Rouge it's a good place. It's a little weird place. It's
weird how? Elaborate. Let's hear that.
So like the school is actually like in the middle of like on one side it's the hood.
Okay.
And then the other side is like real good urban living, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then there's like all these college kids that's right in between. So, you might get some crime sometimes, but it's weird because like the nice neighborhood is over there too. So and then all these college kids who have no idea on who they actually are yet, following these different crowds, and
they're all drunk, intoxicated. They're falling left, right, and center. You got no idea where you're going. Tough place to be. You turn left, you might end up in the wrong area.
Right. So it's a mess in that way, but it's also just a great atmosphere to be in for sports. The best fans in the world for every sport. We had good crowds in track here and there. We also, everybody knows Death Valley, as well as like when the gymnastics team's going, they have some of the best fans as well. So it's just amazing to be there. And the reason why I chose LSU was just that it was kind of like it was still like a family atmosphere, even though it was big. And when I went on my recruiting visit, that's what they made me feel like. They made me feel like I was still in my high school. They made me feel like I was important still. So that's the reason why I made that choice.
I like it. My good buddy Justin Morgan, I sent him a text. He went down, did an exchange down at LSU for 6 months. He still comes back. He's only wearing LSU gear everywhere. He said it was the best time of his life. He said athletics are just on a completely another level down there.
Yeah,
and it sounds like what you're saying. Do you go back and watch the occasional football game back in as an alumni now?
I've maybe been to like 2 games, like in like probably the last 4 years since I've been out of school. But it's cool to go back. It's cool. I just don't have time because football season is during our football season, so we don't really get a chance. And then I think I haven't had a bye week like since I've been in the league. Like it's either been like I've been on one team and like the bye week is coming up, and then I go to another team and miss the bye week or something like that. So I haven't had a bye week yet. So I haven't really been able to get.
Body's just taking a beating, eh? What's
not really too much of a beating because it wasn't really any action for during the season. It was just more so just practice, going hard.
Fair enough. Are you? I'm curious. Having been on so many teams, the Seahawks twice, Cowboys, Bears. Is there a big difference between organizations, or is it similar when you go from one to the other? That's something I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's different everywhere. It's similar but different everywhere. The culture in each place is what kind of makes it different. Some places you might have guys who's been around a long time and they stick together and they're brotherly, and you make friends with them and you're friends with them forever, even whenever you leave the place. And then there's some places where there's a lot of people who know like what the reality of the league is, and you bounce around from place to place. And sometimes those guys are kind of standoffish. You don't really make too many friends in places like that. And then there's places that's kind of a mix between both. And then there's some organizations that's real serious and kind of go by a book, and that this is that and that's that. And then there's some free, easygoing places where you can be yourself and you just go there and you just feel like you're just hanging out, you know. So then there's the facility. Some facilities are up to date and state of the art, and then some places, their facilities been there for 30 years.
Are you gonna share some details as to which are which here, or are you just gonna? Because we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it like that because you know, you don't want to burn the bridges with the league. You know, you might end up in another place, back in another place.
Totally
you might have
understandable.
to make a phone call. But the best thing is everybody's pay is the same besides taxes. You know, so
there you go. Yeah. So you're making more money though, being in Tampa Bay for those, you know, now recently coined. So because you're not paying as much in taxes, then that's got to be a factor for a lot of guys when they're signing contracts, right?
Yeah. When you get into free agency, I think that you think about those things. You think about, okay, like if you have a choice, like, okay, am I going to play in Florida or am I going to go play in Louisiana? You know, unless it's a team that you would like to play for, then you're like, okay, I want to play in Florida, or I want to play in Texas, or I want to play in Washington, because state taxes don't exist, you know?
So I'm curious, what's a guy like Russell Wilson like? I don't know if you've had some direct contact with him. I'm sure you've caught a couple passes. I'm a Seahawks fan growing up in Vancouver, a couple hours north of Seattle. That 12th man, what's that organization? What's that stadium like?
Nah, that was the first place I was. Me and one of my buddies who live here in Texas with me, we always talk about it, how, you know, those are some guys who we're friends, you know, forever. When we got there, we all bonded. There's a brotherhood there, starting at the top with Pete Carroll and John Schneider and Russell Wilson. You know, we all come together and we play. It's free, it's easy going, and it's just a dope place to be, right there on the water. So it's amazing. Russell Wilson, he's a good guy. We share some conversations here and there, being there for a while. So we know, so we know each other, and we get to comment on each other's stuff here and there. You know, we're not the closest of friends, but we know each other.
That's the cool brotherhood in football specifically. I feel like everyone's willing to, you know, reach out, lend a hand, you know, shoot a text here, whatever it is, whether it's even just commenting on social media pics. That's like, it means a lot to a lot of guys knowing that you've got the support from others backing you with whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're also involved in a couple charitable organizations. You've got your own, you've got the Ronald McDonald House, as well as Project Nexus Limits. You want to go into a bit of detail on those and what your involvement looks like?
Yeah, I'll start with Project No Limits.
No Limits. Sorry, my bad.
It's kind of how it's a Louisiana way of spelling things, or a French way with the N-E-A-U-X or A-U-X-E.
I had it in my notes here. I autocorrect. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Apple. Goddamn Apple.
Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, that's an organization based around athletes that don't really have everything that they need, you know, and we just kind of, whether it's like resources, whether it's guidance, and we just try to reach out and help one of those. Me and my friends, we came together and wanted to start an organization that was based and surrounded by that. And so we did it. It's almost a year. It's coming up on a year in a few months that we started it and launched. So it's cool just to be a part of something, the start of something. This coronavirus has slowed us down a little bit. We wanted to do a scholarship this first year and some events and stuff like that, but it's weird during this time, so we haven't been able to progress as fast as we wanted to, but things are still in the works. Ronald McDonald House is an organization that's in so many different cities. They do such an amazing job with families, with kids and stuff like that, that have to have surgeries. They help out in that facet. They house these families, they feed these families. And sometimes I like to get in and go to the Ronald McDonald House and do like a home visit and just spend some time with those families, share games, food, whatever. And so during this time, I just recently made a video for them in Tampa so that people can donate if they can, so that they can provide these different things. And they're coming up on maybe the 50th or 100th year anniversary. So they've been doing it a long time, and it's just good to get with an organization that's already established and just lend a hand if you can.
For sure. That's amazing. Well, I mean, it's a testament to the fact that you're willing to give back, and, you know, it's not always that professional athletes are willing to give up their time. You know, you guys are busy, you have busy schedules, but the fact that you're willing to go above and beyond and make sure that you're doing what you can to support those that aren't as fortunate is it's pretty cool to see and to share and to be able to witness. So good on you for that. One of the last questions we always ask athletes who come on the podcast, and you can talk to it for two sports. What is some advice that you would give to maybe a young runner, a young football player who's looking to make it to that next level, looking to maybe get into that NFL draft, go sign down in the NCAA somewhere? What advice would you give to them?
I'll tell them, be dedicated to it, and let it be important to you. You know, whenever you have something that's important to you, you kind of take care of it. You know, if it's running, and if you don't want to lose this, I like a scripture. It says, you know, if you don't use your gift, you're going to lose your gift, right? But I think about, it's your body, it's a tool. You want to keep it sharp, you want to keep it shiny, because whenever you go to your toolbox and you need this, whatever tool it is, if it's rusty, you know, you're not going to be able to use it. Sometimes you might put it in and you turn it and it's going to break. So it has to be important to you. So you got to get in there and you got to shine that tool. You have to put that oil on that tool, and you got to work that tool. You got to use it. If not, you're going to lose it. And you don't want to just sit in this box for it to get rusty, and you spent all this time and this money on it, and then it just goes to waste. So whether it's track, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, whether it's somebody who's studying to be a lawyer or a doctor, whatever it is, you know, use that gift, continue to nourish it up, strengthen it in every way, because you're going to meet that opportunity and destiny is going to be right there, and you don't want to lose it in that time. That's what I'll say.
Damn, I think this is the 33rd episode of the Athletes Podcast, and that is by far the best answer. I love that analogy. We are clipping that. We are putting that on YouTube. We're putting that everywhere. That shit's going viral. Yeah. And Cyril, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was a lot of fun. I wish you the best of luck in Tampa Bay this year. You got the right people in place. Should be a lot of fun. You got the Super Bowl being held right there this year. Sure. It's an exciting time to be a Buccaneer. And we look forward to watching you this upcoming season. So thank you again for coming on the Athletes Podcast, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day, and stay safe. Keep those hands washed.
For sure.
Peace.
Definitely. Peace.